You gasp. A sudden, violent intake of air rips through your throat, pulling you out of a deep, chaotic dream. Your heart is hammering violently against your ribs. You stare at the dark ceiling, completely exhausted, and assume you simply had a nightmare. You close your eyes and roll onto your back, desperate for rest. But that assumption is a life-threatening biological illusion. If you lock your body into that perfectly flat, symmetrical posture tonight, your brain will not enter a state of deep, restorative healing. Instead, your central nervous system will be violently forced into a silent, agonizing war for oxygen. Clinical somnology reveals that the exact physical geometry of your body while you are paralyzed in the dark is not a harmless personal preference. It is a highly aggressive biomechanical command. Today, we are going to medically rank the exact sleeping positions of the human body, from the absolute most destructive orthopedic torture chamber to the ultimate biological holy grail of human recovery. We are going to decode how simply shifting your geometry by a few degrees can instantly reverse cardiovascular aging, literally power wash the toxic plaque out of your brain, and stop you from slowly suffocating yourself in your sleep. To understand why your posture controls the biological age of your organs, you must first completely abandon the modern myth of comfort. We are culturally obsessed with buying softer mattresses, heavily engineered pillows, and weighted blankets, assuming that if the surface feels good, the biology must be healing. The goal of this physiological intervention is not just to prevent you from waking up with a stiff neck. The true objective is to learn how to actively manipulate the hydraulic pressure of your cardiovascular system and the delicate structural alignment of your central nervous system. You must realize that when you lose consciousness, you are handing the steering wheel of your biology over to gravity, and gravity is absolutely unforgiving. But as you consider changing the way you lie in bed tonight, an intense psychological friction will immediately push back. You think about your favorite sleeping position, the one you have used since childhood. A quiet internal voice whispers, "I have to sleep this way. If I try to sleep in a different position, I will never fall asleep. My body is just naturally built to lie like this." This belief is a catastrophic misunderstanding of human adaptation. Your body is not naturally built to sleep in a posture that destroys it. It has simply been aggressively molded into a state of structural dysfunction by years of bad habits. The pain you feel when you try to change positions is not your body telling you the new position is bad. It is the literal, physical sensation of severely tightened, chronically inflamed connective tissue desperately fighting against being stretched back into its correct, evolutionary alignment. Let us begin the ranking at the absolute bottom. Rank number 4. The most violently destructive, highly traumatic posture a human being can assume for 8 hours. You are lying completely flat on your stomach. Your face is buried in the mattress. Because human beings do not have blowholes on the back of our skulls, like aquatic mammals, you are forced to violently crank your cervical spine, your neck up to 90 degrees to the left or right, just to draw oxygen into your lungs. You assume this feels warm and secure. But beneath your skin, your musculoskeletal system is silently screaming. Imagine taking a thick, heavy-duty, braided electrical cable and aggressively wringing it out like a wet towel, twisting it as far as the fibers will physically tolerate, and then locking it in that violently twisted position for an entire third of your life. That is exactly what you are doing to your cervical spine. The 7 incredibly delicate vertebrae in your neck are fundamentally engineered to support the heavy, bowling ball weight of your skull in a neutral, forward-facing stack. They are absolutely not designed to sustain maximal rotational torque for prolonged periods. The tiny, highly sensitive facet joints that connect these bones are being brutally crushed together on one side and violently overstretched and pulled apart on the other. But the skeletal trauma is merely the outer shell of the crisis. Deep inside those twisting cervical vertebrae runs the vertebral artery. This is a massive, highly pressurized vascular superhighway that pumps highly oxygenated blood directly upward into your brainstem. By cranking your neck to the extreme side and pressing the heavy, dead weight of your skull down into a dense pillow, you are physically, mechanically kinking this vascular hose. You are actively restricting the blood flow to the most ancient, critical, life-sustaining parts of your central nervous system. Your brain registers this sudden drop in localized blood pressure and begins to quietly panic, remaining in a hyper-vigilant, low-grade stress state all night long. Furthermore, because you are pinned entirely on your stomach, the entire dead weight of your torso, your ribs, and your internal organs is pressing directly downward on your diaphragm. The diaphragm is the massive parachute-like muscle sitting below your lungs, absolutely required to pull deep, restorative breaths into your body. Because it is physically pinned against the mattress, it cannot fully expand. Your breathing instantly becomes shallow, rapid, and highly inefficient. You are chronically, systematically under-oxygenating your blood. When you wake up with a dull, throbbing headache radiating from the base of your skull, a deep, agonizing stiffness across your shoulder blades, and a heavy brain fog, you are not just tired. You are experiencing the physiological hangover of spending 8 hours in a suffocating orthopedic trap. If stomach sleeping is a biomechanical disaster, then surely sleeping perfectly flat on your back, perfectly symmetrical, must be the ultimate healthy alternative. This brings us to rank number 3, and a massive, highly pervasive medical misconception that completely blinds us to our own neurology. You open a magazine or watch a video of a celebrity dermatologist who confidently claims that sleeping perfectly flat on your back is the absolute, non-negotiable secret to eternal youth. The myth states that supine sleeping, lying flat on your back, is the ultimate posture because it prevents your face from smashing against the pillow, thereby stopping the mechanical formation of wrinkles. The scientific correction to this myth is far more terrifying. While back sleeping might save your skin from a few cosmetic lines, for millions of human beings, it is a nightly invisible cardiovascular nightmare. When you lie perfectly flat on your back, you surrender your biology entirely to the unforgiving physics of gravity. Inside your throat, you have a highly complex fleshy network of soft tissue. You have the heavy base of your tongue, your soft palate, and your uvula. During your waking hours, constant, subconscious muscle tone keeps this biological airway wide open. But the exact moment you fall into deep, slow-wave sleep, your central nervous system executes a mandatory survival protocol. It commands almost every single skeletal muscle in your body to completely paralyze, preventing you from physically running around and acting out your dreams. But as the muscles in your throat completely paralyze, gravity instantly takes over. The heavy, deadweight meat of the base of your tongue physically collapses backward, dropping straight down into your pharynx. Your airway is violently, completely slammed shut. The sleep specialist leaned aggressively over the desk, pointing a red pen at the jagged, terrifyingly chaotic line crashing across the polysomnography monitor. He looked at the patient and said, "You sat in my office and told me you were getting 8 hours of peaceful, unbroken sleep every single night. But look at this raw data. Your brain didn't rest for a single second. You completely stopped breathing 35 times an hour. Your body spent the entire night fighting a silent, desperate, violent war just to stay alive." This is the hidden, catastrophic violence of severe obstructive sleep apnea, and backsleeping is its ultimate mechanical catalyst. When the airway collapses, your oxygen saturation levels violently plummet. Your brain detects the severe lack of oxygen and assumes you are actively being physically choked to death in the dark. It triggers an extreme, explosive emergency survival response. Your adrenal glands instantly pump massive, highly toxic spikes of cortisol and adrenaline directly into your bloodstream. Your heart rate violently rockets from a resting 60 beats per minute up to 120 beats per minute in a matter of seconds. Your brain forcefully rips you out of your deep, restorative sleep cycle, just long enough to make you violently gasp for air, snore loudly, and clear the muscular blockage. You do not remember this happening. You instantly fall back asleep. But this violent cycle of suffocation and adrenaline repeats dozens, sometimes hundreds of times a single night. The physiological toll of this posture is catastrophic. The constant, massive spikes of adrenaline completely destroy the delicate inner lining of your blood vessels. Your blood pressure stays chronically, dangerously elevated, massively increasing your risk of a fatal stroke or a sudden, massive heart attack. You wake up feeling like you have been hit by a truck. Your mouth is bone dry, your chest is tight, and you are completely unaware that your beloved, perfectly symmetrical sleeping posture is actively tearing your cardiovascular system apart from the inside out. So, if the stomach crushes your spine and the back collapses your airway, where does human biology actually want to be? Evolutionary anthropologists will tell you that early human beings did not sleep on perfectly flat, symmetrical, highly supportive memory foam mattresses. We slept on the hard, unforgiving, violently cold earth. To conserve critical body heat and protect our soft, highly vulnerable internal organs from nocturnal predators, early humans naturally curled into a lateral, side-lying fetal position. The human body is fundamentally, genetically engineered to sleep on its side. But here is where human biology behaves completely, terrifyingly unexpectedly. You are not symmetrical on the inside. Your external limbs might perfectly match, but your internal organ architecture is entirely, violently asymmetrical. Because of this hidden, lopsided anatomy, sleeping on your right side versus your left side triggers two completely different, highly consequential physiological cascades. This brings us to rank number 2, sleeping on your right side. Let's assume you roll over and fall asleep entirely on your right shoulder. It feels comfortable. Your airway remains open, and your spine is relatively neutral. But deep inside your torso, a massive, highly corrosive chemical leak is actively preparing to occur. Your stomach is not a perfectly centered, symmetrical pouch. It physically sits highly positioned on the left side of your abdominal cavity, shaped like an asymmetrical, curved kidney bean. The critical connection between your esophagus and your stomach is guarded by a tiny, highly sensitive muscular valve called the lower esophageal sphincter. When you sleep on your right side, the actual physical weight of your stomach, completely filled with highly acidic, corrosive gastric juices, flips completely upside down. Gravity relentlessly pulls the heavy stomach above the fragile esophagus. The highly acidic pool of digestive fluid violently presses against that tiny muscular valve. Eventually, as you remain paralyzed, the valve gives way. The corrosive, burning stomach acid leaks directly out of the stomach and flows freely into your delicate esophageal tube. This is the exact mechanical reality of severe acid reflux and silent gastroesophageal reflux disease, or GERD. You might wake up with a hoarse voice, a strange, metallic, sour taste in your mouth, or a subtle, burning tightness in your chest. You assume you just ate a bad, spicy meal for dinner. But you are actually chemically burning your own vocal cords and destroying your esophageal lining, massively increasing your risk of esophageal cancer, simply because of the gravitational orientation of your internal organs. But sleeping on your right side is not entirely destructive. In fact, lateral side sleeping unlocks a biological miracle deep inside the dark, fluid-filled chamber of your skull. For decades, neurologists were completely baffled by how the human brain cleaned itself. Every other organ in your body uses the lymphatic system, a vast, complex network of vessels that constantly flush out dead cells and metabolic trash. But the brain has absolutely no traditional lymphatic vessels. When your brain burns massive amounts of energy during the day, it produces highly toxic, microscopic metabolic waste, specifically a sticky, dangerous protein called amyloid beta. If this sticky plaque builds up in your neural pathways, it physically suffocates your brain cells. This exact plaque accumulation is the primary biological hallmark of Alzheimer's disease and severe, irreversible cognitive decline. If the brain has no lymphatic pipes, how does it get rid of the poison? The answer was discovered in a groundbreaking neuroimaging study revealing a hidden, incredibly sophisticated plumbing network called the glymphatic system. The G stands for glial cells, the heavily supportive cells of the brain. When you fall into deep, slow-wave sleep, a staggering biological phenomenon occurs. The glial cells inside your brain literally, physically shrink in size by up to 60%. This rapid, massive shrinking aggressively widens the microscopic spaces between your brain cells. Suddenly, massive volumes of cerebrospinal fluid, The clear liquid that violently cushions your brain rush like a high-pressure river into these newly opened channels. The fluid acts like a microscopic power washer, aggressively scrubbing the sticky amyloid beta plaques off your neurons and flushing the toxic waste out of your skull, down your spinal cord, and directly into your liver to be destroyed. Clinical neuroimaging studies have definitively proven that the glymphatic system operates at absolute, peak maximum efficiency when the human body is positioned in a lateral, side-sleeping posture. When you sleep on your side, the specific gravitational orientation of your jugular veins and your cerebral aqueducts creates the perfect, frictionless, hydrodynamic flow. The brain washes itself with terrifying speed and precision. Conversely, when subjects were forced to sleep flat on their backs or stomachs, the clearance rate significantly slowed down, leaving the toxic proteins behind to slowly rot the brain. So, lateral sleeping saves your brain, but right-side sleeping burns your esophagus. This leads us directly to the absolute, undisputed champion of human recovery. Rank number 1. The biological holy grail of sleep geometry. Sleeping entirely on your left side. When you forcefully roll over and commit to sleeping entirely on your left side, you flip a miraculous, systemic biological switch. Because the stomach sits on the left side of your body, sleeping on your left allows gravity to pull the heavy pool of gastric acid safely downward, resting completely harmlessly in the deep, natural curvature of the stomach itself. The delicate esophageal valve remains completely clear, elevated, and unpressurized. The acid physically cannot climb up the tube. Your acid reflux is instantly, mechanically cured. Furthermore, your massive cardiovascular system is distinctly biased toward the left. Your aorta, the largest, most powerful artery in your entire body, arches toward the left side of your heart before descending into your abdomen. When you sleep on your left side, you are literally using gravity to assist your heart in pumping blood down through the descending aorta. You are physically reducing the mechanical workload on your heart muscle for 8 consecutive hours. But the physiological dominance of the left side does not stop there. Your lymphatic system, the massive sewage network of your body, is also violently asymmetrical. The vast majority of your lymphatic fluid drains directly into a massive pipe called the thoracic duct, which is located almost entirely on the left side of your body. By sleeping on your left side, gravity physically accelerates the drainage of toxic, metabolic waste from your tissues directly into your spleen, allowing your body to violently purify your bloodstream while you remain completely unconscious. You are fixing your digestion, assisting your heart, detoxifying your blood, and power washing your brain, all simultaneously, simply by facing the correct wall of your bedroom. However, this deep biological architecture sounds incredibly empowering, but it comes with a severe, highly practical, non-negotiable warning that you must not ignore. You cannot simply command your unconscious body to remain frozen perfectly on its left side. The human nervous system is aggressively designed to move. We naturally shift positions between 10 to 30 times a night to prevent localized pressure ulcers and to keep blood flowing to our extremities. If you attempt to transition to left-side sleeping, you absolutely must construct a physical, architectural brace for your skeleton. If you sleep on your side without a firm, thick pillow placed directly between your knees, you are orchestrating an orthopedic disaster. Without a pillow between your knees, the heavy weight of your top leg physically collapses downward onto the mattress. This severe gravitational drop violently pulls your femur out of its socket alignment, which violently twists your entire pelvis downward. This pelvic twist completely contorts your lower lumbar spine, placing massive, shearing, rotational torque on your lower back discs. The massive erector muscles along your spine are forced to stay tightly contracted all night long just to prevent your spine from snapping. You wake up with crippling lower back pain, completely unaware that it was caused by your knee dropping 2 inches in the dark. The pillow acts as a physical architectural brace. It keeps your knees separated, which keeps your hips perfectly stacked, which keeps your pelvis perfectly parallel to the floor, completely neutralizing the mechanical stress on your spine. Furthermore, you must understand a harsh, life-saving limitation of posture optimization. Changing your sleep posture to your left side will massively reduce mild snoring and mild, gravity-induced airway resistance. But if you have severe, clinically diagnosed structural obstructive sleep apnea, rolling onto your side is not a magical cure. Severe apnea is a dangerous, anatomical collapse of the airway tissue that requires highly specific medical intervention. If you are waking up gasping for air, if your partner terrifies you by telling you that you stop breathing in your sleep, you do not need a new pillow configuration. You need a continuous positive airway pressure machine, a CPAP, to act as a highly pressurized pneumatic splint, physically blowing your airway open so your cardiovascular system does not violently self-destruct before dawn. Posture optimization is incredibly powerful, but it cannot override severe structural pathology. As you lie there tonight, feeling the heavy weight of your body finally sink into the mattress, a profound, perspective-shattering realization should permanently settle over your mind. For years, you have treated your time in bed as a passive, dead, highly inconvenient space. You assumed sleep was just a dark, empty room you entered to escape the brutal exhaustion of your waking life. You blamed your morning stiffness on getting older, your afternoon brain fog on a lack of caffeine, and your digestive issues on your diet. You felt like you were aging faster than you should, completely, blissfully unaware that you were the one unknowingly twisting the dials, kinking the hoses, and aggressively shutting off the valves of your own biological recovery. But human biology is not a passive, helpless victim. It is an incredibly sophisticated, highly responsive, violently aggressive, self-repairing machine. You are not permanently broken. Your body is simply obeying the exact, unforgiving laws of gravity and geometry that you are relentlessly forcing upon it. When you lock it in a twisted, compressed, suffocating posture, it fights a desperate, exhausting war just to keep you breathing until the sun comes up. But when you finally align the skeleton, when you deeply respect the structural asymmetry of your internal organs, and when you open the biological floodgates of your central nervous system, it responds with shocking, immediate, miraculous cellular regeneration. You possess, entirely dormant within your own physical architecture, the exact mechanical ability to physically wash your brain, heal your spine, and completely rebuild your entire metabolism every single night. You spend 1/3 of your entire life completely paralyzed in the dark. You just need to make absolutely sure your body isn't fighting to survive it.